or 150,000, those of us who are on Social Security, of course, we pay, 6.2%,
like
and then we pay Medicare. And of course, he also tells me that in federal government, there is CSRS, there is FERS, and there is also Social Security, and then there's a combination of Social Security and FERS. So they have a lot of pension systems. But it's a good feedback. It's a good idea for us to learn from him. So I thank Rajinder Singh. So if anytime you have any comment, let us know. We'll correct ourselves.
Well, switching topics, folks. This is one sign that maybe our economy is starting to come back. A year ago, the banks were in trouble, and you saw their stock prices were also in trouble. And now, finally, the banks have started to make a comeback, including Citigroup, where the Wall Street's lowest-paid chief executive, Vikram Pandit, works. Right? He made only a salary of $1 during the financial years, crisis years. And so, of course, now that the bank is doing much better, they are giving him a big retention payout. He is going to be receiving $23.2 million in retention package that could catapult him to the top of the list as far as financially well-paid CEOs. Citi's board awarded him as much as $16.5 million in stock and options, as well as a cash payment valued at more than $6.65 million as part of a special profit-sharing program for top executives. Which is great, actually, because...
Yeah, he was a nice guy. Started at a very low price because he said he's going to make sure Citi lives and thrives.
This one bank stayed with their chief. The chief stayed with them, and now he gets his handsome payout and a reward for future performance based on how well he's done so far. So good for him. I'm happy with that story.
There are still innovations being made in technology. The new one is called Wanga. It's... what it is a system through which you give people a loan, but you don't really base it on where do they live or are they black, white, brown, or any of that. It's all done on a computer. They make the application over the computer, and they have developed an algorithm in which they don't need to know whether you're white, black, or brown, or yellow. What they're really looking at is through this very fast engineering computing, they want to find out from thousands of sources whether you can pay back your loan or not.
Oh, how brilliant is that?
Now, this is happening in Britain, okay? The system, they have received a lot of venture funds and all of that, but the system cannot give you a loan more than 1 month. And at the interest rate of 4,000%.
Woo!
What it is doing is it's replacing those mom and pop shops where you go to cash your payday check and they say, oh, what is it? Okay, give me $5 over 100, and you're paying $20 for $400 for a 2 days loan. So that's exactly what they're doing, but they're doing it over 30 days,
That's an amazing interest percentage. I mean, you'd have to have some tolerance for risk to borrow the money.
But this is only where the loans are only for 30 days. Of course, when they take it out and ramp it up and spread it out, it will come down. But it's a good model to look at. As a technology, it's wonderful to look at. No discrimination.
Well,
no redlining.
That part is interesting, that they're getting away from your typical demographic patterns, if you will, on spending and focusing more on your actual history. So in a way, it's an improvement, but 30 days is still enough to do some damage with that kind of an interest rate. Well, here is a story that caught my eye out of the Washington Post. I'm sure it caught many people's eye because the headline was so tempting. As Indian companies grow in the U.S., outsourcing comes home. So it was a matter of time, folks, when the economies of scale allowed call centers to exist in India, Brazil, all these various other places. And it worked well, except that the time difference, all of those things made it difficult. And then you had all these workers that were going back and forth between companies that were outsourced across the oceans, H-1B visas. You had all these emotional strife occurring in politics, whether we were sending jobs overseas or not. Well, guess what? 10 years evolution in this industry space, and you're finding that it's expensive now to actually build a call center overseas.
And it's very difficult. It's got a lot of zigs and zags and,
logistical nightmare. Companies get into trouble. Sometimes they're not successful. The communication becomes a problem. So a lot of these Indian companies that were successful with this call center model are evolving. They're now doing outsourcing, but in a new flavor. And that new flavor is actually called near sourcing, diverse shoring, or cross shoring. These are new terms.
I remember the COO of Infinity came in and he said, we are going to be where our clients are.
And that's the premise, is they're basically offering you the ability to pop up a call center near to their customer or client base and do it basically on a shoestring. With folks that are not necessarily well educated. They're not looking for degreed professionals. And there's a lot of people here in the United States that are out of work, that are looking for some kind of a job just to make a paycheck to bring something home. And this is a great way for them. Unskilled labor, you learn quickly in the environment, and you're right there. You get paid in American wages. You don't have to worry about the visa headaches. This model is working very well, so well that the big companies, the Wipros and the Tata Consulting, are starting to embrace this model because they've been threatened by smaller companies doing the same thing.
By the way, this is an Indian company.
That's right.
That is doing this particular thing. They're bringing jobs, which is what everybody says. These folks that are coming from India are creating jobs in the United States. Well, that is one of
Here's an example. Here's an example. Madhu Vapuluri, sorry, I hope I said his name right. He is the executive and deal maker for Isar Group. That's the pioneer company, if you will, who had this radical idea of opening a call center here. They basically bought out a call center that was not doing well here, and they thrived on that model. But this is the part I love. Because these companies are innovative and they become flexible, they're now challenging the old stalwarts like the IBMs of the world, right? People who have claimed and staked their claim on being able to serve in a global fashion. These guys have uncluttered the whole thing and said, we'll put up a call center wherever you want. We'll do it economically. And they're successful.
It's a business model which has a lot of pricing factors in it. So consequently, but I like the idea that these Indian companies, or from now on maybe companies out of Thailand or Philippines or Russia, whatever, that they will buy companies that are call centers here.
Yes.
So let the call go out to all Indian Americans. Hey guys, build a call center here in the United States and then sell it to the Indian folks out there.
Hey,
that's a good model.
This guy proves it.
Yeah. Let's face it, folks, Indian mangoes are the best. I don't care
doubt.
what anybody says, they are the best. 2007, for the first time, the United States allowed mangoes to come in. And what happened? They were on containers, on sea containers, and sometimes they were refrigerated. I ordered